Well, good afternoon, Central Texas. Happy Thursday to you. Thanks for joining us on our 6 Plus live stream here. I want to give you an update again as we head into the weekend. Things are starting to look a little more clear on what's actually going to happen. With that being said, there are still some major discrepancies in our model data. Because of that, there is still a chance that what we show you may not necessarily be the case. But here's what we're confident in at this point. We are confident that we are going to see some freezing precipitation, most likely in the form of freezing rain and sleet. When does that get here? Most likely Saturday. And that's going to last into Sunday morning before everything kind of moves off as we head through your Sunday morning. So let's go through it real quick. Weather impact alert, again, from basically tomorrow night, says through Monday morning. I think we're going to extend that. Now, I think Monday afternoon will be above freezing, but I think we're going to do another half day on Tuesday because Tuesday morning we could still be seeing temperatures in the teens. So I think we're going to extend that a little bit as we head through the rest of the day. The impact, of course, same thing it's been, wintry precipitation. I think I'm going to take the word possible off there at this point because it's pretty likely that we do see that wintry precipitation on Saturday. Very cold temperatures also likely in this scenario. So we're going to keep an eye on that. There are still some discrepancies, but I'm going to show you today is going to be your worst case scenario, potentially, in terms of what those temperatures could look like Sunday and Monday morning. So you just understand that's what you'll need to be prepared for. If it doesn't happen, great, but I am going to show you the worst case scenario potential temperatures. So your need, of course, is to pay attention to forecast changes and remember those 4 Ps. We'll cover them again at the end of this forecast, but again, it's pets, pipes, plants, and people. And when I say limit travel, I mean limit travel. I've been seeing a lot of chatter on social media the last couple of days. People saying, oh, I'm from the north, we can handle this, et cetera, et cetera. Most people from the south don't have to drive in this very often, so again, that's where the lack of practice comes from. Also, if you are from the north, there's a good chance that most of what you drive in is snow. Here in Texas, we don't get a lot of snow. We get a lot of just sheets of ice on the road, and really, as good of a driver as you may be, there's nothing you can really do about ice. If your tires aren't in contact with the ground, they're not in contact with the ground. That's the problem, okay? It's not like hydroplaning through water where you eventually find traction. It's just if it's a constant sheet of ice, you're going to have problems no matter where you're from or how good of a driver you are. So just make sure you're limiting that travel. So here's your winter storm warning. That's right, it's been upgraded today from a watch to a warning. That just means there's more confidence in the impacts that we're expecting. So that's why it's been upgraded from a watch to a warning. Again, that accumulating ice and those temperatures bitterly cold each morning. We keep using that word bitter cold. Might change that to dangerously cold. Again, just to kind of really drive home this point that Sunday and Monday mornings are going to be, this is the sort of temperature where if you're outside with your skin exposed, frostbite can definitely happen. So keep that in mind. So I'm going to show you 3 forecast models. The first one is one of our long range models. This is the one we've kind of been tracking all week. It's been the most conservative, but it's also usually our most consistent model. That's why we use it so often. It's called the European model. Technically, it's the ECMWF, but we call it the European model. Again, rain Friday. That's what we're looking at for Friday. We're not looking at freezing precipitation. We're just looking at rain Friday. A cold rain, obviously, as we head through Friday evening. Then as we get to Saturday, this model has been very consistently all week showing us that, hey, it's going to be a late morning, early afternoon transition into that freezing precipitation, especially for our northern counties, talking McLennan, Hill, Bosque, those areas. And then as we put this back in motion, get kind of a break throughout the day, but then by Saturday night, we get a very solid coverage of that freezing rain and sleet mixture. So because of that, Sunday morning will likely have the most impactful travel conditions. So keep that in mind. As this starts to slide east Sunday morning, this model does try to bring in a little bit of snow. Now, as far as the snow goes, it's going to be minimal, and most of us are not going to see it, but a few areas could see some flurries. That'll be nice to wake up to on Sunday morning. Again, I wouldn't go outside and play in it because it's potentially going to feel like it's 2 degrees outside, but again, it'll still be nice to look at on your lawn. After that, we kind of see everything move out. As we head into the day Sunday, this particular forecast model keeps us below freezing. Most of our models for Sunday are keeping us below freezing. Why is that a problem? Well, I'll tell you, if we don't get above freezing, it's not going to melt, right? If you take something out of the freezer and put it in the fridge, eventually it'll melt. You leave something in the freezer, guess what? It's going to stay as ice. That's the best analogy I think to give you on that. So with that in mind, we're not going to get a lot of melting on Sunday. If the sun comes out Sunday afternoon, which our models are saying it should, we might get what we call some radiant heat. That might lead to a little bit of melting, but it's not going to be efficient. It's not going to melt everything. So when you wake up Monday morning, I'm still expecting there to be ice on the ground. Now we're going to show you some of our short range models. Why is it so vital that we get to these short range models? because they have higher resolution, they can show you individual cells, and they give you a pretty decent expectation, a simulation of what could happen. Our long-range models, they show you the big blobs of rain, right? So that's why we like to get within range of our short-range models, and they're usually more accurate because, again, they are pulling in higher resolution. They don't have to go out as far. So again, rain Friday. As we head into Friday night into early Saturday morning, this model already kind of has that transition happening across our northern and western periphery. Again, here we are middle of the night. Fast forward to the morning hours, and we see a little bit of that freezing rain, but then we get a break for the afternoon. We're going to need that break because anytime we get a break in the activity, that's less ice accumulating on the ground. And also, notice by 10:30, we're still seeing temperatures hovering right around the freezing mark. As long as temperatures are hovering around the freezing mark, the ground isn't going to get cold enough to start seeing that ice stick. So that's good. That's what we want to see. We want to make sure that we're keeping those temperatures at least a little bit above freezing. But then as we head through the rest of the day, notice what happens. Temperatures fall through the day on Saturday. So now we are looking at freezing conditions. Once we see things get below about 28 degrees, that's when we could start to see those driving conditions start to deteriorate. And notice we have a wide swath of that freezing rain sleet mixture moving across the area. So again, if we're going to have issues, they're primarily going to be Saturday night and Sunday morning. By the time we get to about 6, 7 o'clock Sunday morning, everything starts to move off. This particular model does not bring in snow, so I apologize to all the kids across the area. We may not get to see that snowfall. It may just be ice for the entirety of this event. Put it back in motion, get to noon Sunday, we still have cloud cover. That's a problem for two reasons. One, you don't get that radiant heat from the sun, and two, any cloud cover is going to keep our temperatures below freezing. I think for the most part, Sunday we do stay below freezing. Saturday, Sunday, both days. Once we drop below freezing on Saturday morning, we won't climb above freezing again until potentially for some of us noon on Monday. Some of us may stay below freezing on Monday too, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. This is another short range model. This is a third model that I'm showing you. Those first two fairly consistent here, showing that the freezing rain gets out of here by Sunday morning. The one little caveat, the one difference that we're seeing is that start time. Right now, I always say this, the truth, as it so often does, probably lives somewhere in the middle. Take a look here. This is what we call the HRRR model, H-R-R-R model. And that model does not want us to start seeing that freezing precipitation until at least 10 o'clock Saturday. And even then, it's kind of on the periphery of the area. We put it back in motion, and you start to see that freezing rain mixing into central Texas there around the noon hour. So again, a whole lot of different solutions to when this event is actually going to get started. As it always does, and I just said it, I'll say it again, the truth usually lives somewhere in the middle, so I'm going to go with any time between about 10 and noon is when you could start to see that freezing precipitation. Now again, there's going to be a lag time, and because of that lag time, I don't think Saturday morning is going to pose a whole lot of issues in terms of travel. It's going to be later. It's going to be 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon as those temperatures continue to drop. That's when you're going to start to see the road conditions deteriorate, and they'll deteriorate through the rest of the day, into the night, and into Sunday morning as well. So how much ice are we talking? Well, this is kind of the big question because our power lines, you get a 1/4 inch of ice on the power lines, they do have a tendency to snap. Tree branches, same thing. The roads, if it's thin enough layer of ice, you can sometimes find some traction. But when you start talking about a 1/4 to a 1/2 inch of ice across the area, that is where we start to see some of those major issues. So because of that, my best advice to you is if you don't have to travel this weekend, don't do it. I would stay inside. I would make sure that you are stocked up. Not to a crazy extent. If you're going to the grocery store this afternoon, this evening, you don't need the 36 rolls of toilet paper. You don't need 8 loaves of bread, and you certainly don't need 4 gallons of milk. This is going to be a 2 or a 3-day event. 18 pack of toilet paper, a couple of loaves of bread, and a gallon of milk probably get you through the entire situation. So because of that, don't start panic buying across the area. Just make sure you're getting the necessities, things you're going to need for the next 3 or 4 days, and save some for the rest of us, of course. So that's my best advice to you. Again, don't travel. Make sure you stay inside. Make sure you're stocked up. And again, make sure that you have ways to provide heat to yourself, whether that's blankets, whether that's, space heaters are always dangerous, but sometimes they do come in handy. And if you do lose power, make sure you know where those warming centers are, places that you can go, maybe a neighbor, a friend. Again, warming centers across the area. If you lose power, because your house is going to get cold very fast with some of the temperatures that we're looking at. You want to make sure that you're staying safe throughout this as well. So here's where we go from there. So we talked about the ice, again, about a quarter, half inch of ice, mainly from Saturday morning through Sunday morning. In terms of the temperatures, we have now seen our extreme cold watch upgraded to an extreme cold warning. Those wind chill values, again, as we talked about yesterday, could be near zero in central Texas. Now, I'm going to show you, like I said, worst case scenario. If this doesn't happen, great, but understand that I'm showing you this because it could happen. Sunday morning, we could see wind chill values, so this is what it actually feels like on your skin. Anywhere between -1 out in Goldthwaite up to 0 in Meridian, 1 in Hillsboro, 2 in Waco, 4 Marlin, 5 Cameron. These are the numbers that one of our models is pulling in, and again, this is our worst case scenario. Could it be in the teens? Sure. Is that all that much better? No. So just understand this is what could happen. As far as Monday morning, take a look at that. We're looking at -8 up to about -2, maybe as low as -10 in some areas. So this is worst case scenario, but could absolutely happen this weekend. So make sure you're prepared for that as we head through Saturday and Sunday. So again, we always talk about the 4 Ps, and again, there's decent weather out there today. We're in the 50s and 60s for the most part across the area. So if you need to go grocery shopping, do it now. If you need to air up your tires, even overinflate them a little bit because your tires will lose pressure over the course of the weekend. Do that now. If you need to winterize your home, do that now. So let's talk about the safety aspects of everything. So number one, bring in your pets. There is absolutely zero reason why your pets should be stuck outside if it is 10 to 12 degrees across the area. And I know everybody always says the same thing. Well, our pets have fur coats. Well, if you put on a fur coat and go outside, you're going to feel all that nice if it's 0 degrees? That's the question we always pose, right? So again, bathroom breaks outside, no more than a couple of minutes, right? And just make sure your pets are staying inside with you. Protect your pipes. How can you do that? Well, make sure you cover the outdoor faucets. That's number one, first and foremost. If the cold air can't get in, that makes things much easier for you. Number two, make sure the cabinets that protect your pipes under your sinks are open to allow that warm air to kind of continue to hit those pipes. And number three, leave some drips, right? I know it feels like a waste of water, and I understand that. But also keeping the water moving through your pipes, an extra $4 or $5 on your water bill is a whole lot better than a $1,000 repair job for those pipes. So again, keep a drip going, make sure your cabinets are open, and make sure those outdoor faucets are covered up, and whatever you do, don't make sure that whatever timer system you have on your sprinkler systems is turned off for the weekend. The next thing I'll say is bring in plants. Now there are some, very hardy, evergreen varieties of plants that can sustain in the cold weather. There's also a lot that can't, so make sure you're bringing in those potted plants because you will lose them in this kind of cold. And finally, the 4th P is to check on people, right? So again, we talked about how we could lose power. Again, ERCOT, we've run the stories all week. ERCOT believes that they can handle what's going to happen. That's all well and great in terms of generation. It's getting the power to people. That's the problem, right? So if we're talking a quarter to a half inch of ice on the power lines, they can snap. That's a lot of stress for the power lines to have to maintain. So because of that, make sure you're checking on the people around you just in case they lose power during the storm. And again, know where those warming centers are and know where your kind of escape valves are, and make sure you have blankets and other things to cover up with when you're inside your home. So those are your 4 Ps: pets, pipes, plants, and people. We talk about them all the time, but now that we're on digital, I figured I had an opportunity to really kind of explain a little bit more in depth about what all these things mean. So we're going to continue to keep an eye on this. Of course, things will continue to evolve over the course of the next couple of hours. So by the time we get to 6 News at 5 and 6, we may have some even newer information for you. And of course, we'll have another update on 6 Plus coming up tonight at 8. We have 6 News at 10, and then tomorrow we'll do a 3 o'clock update. And then we have another 8 o'clock update. And of course, 5, 6, and 10, we got the news. And then throughout the course of the weekend, we'll be doing live cut-ins during the Today Show on Saturday. We'll have a live radar stream going basically from Saturday morning all the way through Sunday evening. And of course, we'll have updates for you throughout the weekend. And we'll have crews kind of posted to kind of give you updates on what is happening across the area. So make sure you have the 6 Plus app, and make sure you're tuning in to our television side of things as well.